my God. Where is Sambaza? Oh, there goes Sambaza. Okay. In here. Hello, hello, hello. We are just getting started. Hi, Sambaza.
Hey, what's up?
I like your new background. Oh my God, you do not have a hat. Kuna kichwa kikubwa ndugu yangu.
Hey, it's a chin.
At least they said it in Swahili, so nobody.
Nah, nobody understand that.
Your fans did not understand what I just said.
No, I have some fans. They probably understand what you're saying. They're getting that shit.
Beauty in Black is here. Joyce is here. How you guys doing?
You've been busy.
Who?
You.
Oh,
It's
with
been a
what?
busy month for you. It's been a busy month for you. Like you've had like two things going on.
Yeah.
Like you did a live a couple of hours ago, right?
Yes, I did the live with Soda. It's the last. Well, tomorrow is the last day of Mental Health Awareness Month, but we're also getting geared for June, which is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. Which is June is also my favorite month because it's my birthday. And we have Empowered Podcasting event in June.
Yeah, I saw that. There's another event also going on in Atlanta. Again, just before that event.
We actually have three events happening in Atlanta. One is the first week of June, and then there's another one which is it ends on the 28th, which the 28th Empowered starts, and then there's another one which is the big one. How can I forget this name? Because it's organized by the Black, our own people, the Black community, and oh my God, Nia would be able to tell me because I think she's working that event. But yeah, we also have that one.
Oh, okay. Wow. Yeah, there's a lot happening in June. And it's also June
is about to be crazy.
Oh, that's what's been going on.
Okay, I'm back. Can you see me?
Yeah, I can see you. I can hear you. Now you're a bit more steady.
All right. I see Jen is in here as well. She came to say hi to us earlier as well.
Hey, Jen.
So for all those who are new, this is Pod Chat, which is normally the last Saturday of the month at 8 p.m. time. But because last Saturday of the month, it was Memorial Day weekend, so we decided to have it on the last Thursday of the month because scheduling conflict for Friday. But we're here, and today's topic is we're gonna be talking about success in life and in podcasting because the myths, the norms, and everything to do with success. I am just tired of our people and this. Are you successful? What is success to you? So, Sambaza, take us over. Oh, Jen just said Sambaza net. So take us, Sambaza, take it over. What is success to you? Let's start there.
Success where? In podcasting or in life?
You can share both if you have one in general or if you have different one for both. Whatever it is, share. Let's hear it.
I think when you want to sum up your success in life and success in podcasting, I think it's the point where you reach and say, you know what, I have done all I can, and whatever that I have gone through all this time and amassed is good enough for me. I think that you can sum as success. You don't have you are at peace with yourself, because I think when you are young and you say you want to be successful, or even when you're old, whichever age you are, whenever your journey has to go to somewhere to end somewhere. But there's a certain point where it gets to, you're like, okay, I have done the best I can. Now at this point, I am full. Now, when you come to the part where you say you're full, I think that's when you say you're successful. Now, most people say, okay, I haven't gotten to where I had wanted to from the beginning, but you have gotten somewhere. You started, like they say, the 1,000 journey starts with the first step. So you will have maybe accomplished 500 steps out of the 1,000. You're still not on step number one. But just because you've gotten to 500 and said, you know what, I've done the best I can, that's it. That's success right there.
So that to you is success.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So what if a person does all those steps, whatever you mentioned, but they're not fulfilled? And they just can't keep going on, but they're not fulfilled. They're not at peace with the end decision. And like, how do you change their mind into showing them it's success? Because sometimes we have to get off the journey reasons, but that doesn't necessarily mean we are happy with the decision of getting off where we are getting off, but we have to, right?
So we used to have this saying back in the day when we were younger, and you have and they have it in Swahili. You have a meeting with yourself, right? But this time you have a conversation with yourself. That means you get into the situation whereby Paula gets out of her body and stands on the other side, right? Like you're talking to a mirror, right? And then Paula, you start talking about the things that you've done for the last 6 months, right? Now, you imagine yourself as being a stranger, and then you're looking at Paula, and then Paula is telling the stranger, or Paula is looking at the stranger and looking at what they have done from, let's say, January till now, 6 months, right? So when you look back and kind of judge all that, I think at that point you will see that you have made a change. So if a stranger was to come and talk to you, like, let's talk about you, right? For a brief second. Last year, between January and end of May, if you were to compare and take the same journey from this January till the end of May, you have two sets of journeys, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm asking you.
I had two sets of journey.
No, you do have two sets of journey. First of all, that was 2023. Now we're on 2024. So, right? But when you look at what you started off in January 2023 to May 2023 and compare it to January 2024 till May 2024, just that span of time, you will see that there's been some journeys that you've undertaken. Now, I've been together with you the last year and this year, and I noticed a difference. Now, imagine you having a conversation with yourself and telling yourself, hey, Paula, how are you doing today? Yes. So what have you been doing since January? Okay. Then you look at yourself and say, in January, I've been doing this, and I did this, and I did this, and I did that. Now you start counting like a stranger, and you realize you've done a lot. And that's where, if you did that, you would see yourself being successful in any shape or form.
I get where you're coming from, but that can also be seen as growth, right? Because you can tell me that, oh, from here to here, that is success. But to me, I'm looking at it like, but I haven't achieved the goal I wanted to achieve. Yes, I've moved. Cool, that's growth. I've moved, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's success. Because to me, probably I haven't achieved what those moves were supposed to get me to achieve.
Okay, so at that point, you recalibrate. What they say, you recalibrate, right? So let's say you had to say by this time you had wanted to win, or maybe win like 2 awards, or maybe an award, or you had been looking for maybe to be 10 episodes in, right? You're going to podcasting. if you haven't made that, then you sit back and analyze, and say, okay, why didn't I make these 10 podcasts? There must have been a reason as to why you didn't make it. Right now, you find the reasons why, whether they're excuses or they're genuine reasons why you did it. Then you say, okay, fine, this is what I've done. So let's say from June till October, we're going to try to put in 10 episodes. But now I know the strategy. I know what I did wrong. Now that's success, because you identified where.
But that's what
you
I'm
come
saying.
from.
To you, that what is success because of the way you're looking at it. But to somebody else, they might not be looking at it that way, even though that's how you look at it, right?
Right, I agree. That's my way. That's my. Remember when we talked about it, I said my perception of how success
And
would be.
that's how.
So,
And that's why
if
my question was: how would you make somebody who doesn't look at it that way to look at it that way? So it wasn't like I was judging your answer, or I
no,
was saying it is wrong. I was just kind of inquiring because, as again, as I said, everybody has a different meaning for success, right? Like
right,
especially for us who are in podcasting. I don't know about you, but a lot of times when people hear me say I'm a podcaster, the first thing is, how much money are you making? Are you successful? Or when people come to me wanting to learn how to do podcasting and get my idea, and they be like, I want to have a successful podcast. And I look at it like, what makes podcast successful, right? Because there are all these, what? Oh my God, how can I come up with the word? These myths, these misconceptions of what a successful podcast is, right? Because
mhm,
somebody might be having a lot of sponsorships, but their podcast has never won an award, right? Or
right,
isn't a lot of people don't know it. And to us, that's successful. And then there will be another person, hey Craig, who
hey,
is
great,
has so many awards, right? But still, there hasn't been like a liquidative opportunity or a sponsorship or any of that thing, and they can consider themselves successful, right? So again, and then when you come to people, so whenever I ask people, like, when you say you want to have a successful podcast, what does that look to you? Like, what is a successful podcast to you?
yeah, and then
Somebody step. Yeah, I saw me talk about. I said the first time I saw him, I was like, wait, what? It's for real. I was myself impressed, especially since I saw him live yesterday and it was a different background. So for bringing it on for talk show with him.
hey, hey. So I think that's when you question. You see, Paula, the most important thing here is you got to question yourself. What was your intent of either starting the podcast, or what was the intent of your journey? Why were you doing that? Now, if you don't meet that goal, then if you define that as you being not successful, then that's where you're going to tell somebody, hey, you know what? This is the reason why you're not successful, because you tried this and it didn't work. You see what I'm saying? But when you start off, like for example, now tell me, what would be your definition of the success? Like say success in podcasting.
When I can afford a billboard in New York City. New York City with podcasting money. That will mean my podcast is success. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. Why are you looking like that?
No, I'm trying to figure out the concept there.
You know that the New York billboard,
Mhm,
they say when you have a
mhm.
billboard in New York City, because apparently it's the most expensive billboard. But no, to be honest, I I really, maybe that's why I treat my podcast the way I treat it, and I do things in my own time, because I've never really thought about having a successful podcast, if that makes sense. I know that might be weird. Like yes, I'm more talk shit in Times Square. Yes, baby, okay, let's make that happen. I mean, I always wanted to build a strong brand. I'm more concentrated on building my brand compared to having a successful podcast. Even though I wouldn't mind a successful podcast, but I feel like my podcast is more of selfishly, it's more for me than for people out there because it enriches my mental health. So I do it for me, and that's why when I need to take a break, I take a break. Like, yes, I care about the people who listen because hey, I'm almost at 9,000 downloads, so clearly people love it out there and are enjoying it, and I appreciate that, and I know it has touched people, but I'm selfish. It was really for me, and I do it for me, and those conversations help me, and in the hopes of helping me, I'm also hoping it helps somebody out there. So I've never thought of what a successful podcast for me would look like. I don't know. I've never had that. But I know I want to have a strong brand. That's why I keep on building things under the Talk Shit with P umbrella and doing different things and trying different things and getting into merch and creating. And as I say, I know I have a dream of having Talk Shit with P in Times Square. So maybe once I get there, I'll be like, I'm successful, even though you might get
Okay.
stripped and marked if you do too much.
Right. They would know. They would think, yes, she has lots and lots of money here, and they would come after you. But I think, Paula, you're already defining your own success because you've already stated in just the last few words. Your success would be to have yourself on a billboard on Times Square, right? Are you trying to get there? Yes, you are. But you're not going the traditional way. Like, okay, you're not pumping in your podcast as you wanted to push it. Like, hey, I'm going to push the podcasting. You're using other elements like the talk issue P. You're going on that level. So whichever way the journey is, the end goal is to have you come up on and just for maybe a minute or two or whatever 10 seconds to come up on Times Square, right? And that's when you define success. Now you're working to get there, right?
I think so. I mean, I can literally get to Times Square even today. I just need the money. Like, it's all about money, right? It's all about, cause it's marketing. You to get that billboard, you just have to have the money to fucking pay for the fucking billboard. Like, so am I working on the money right now? No, because I have all these other things that are more important right now, and I don't think I want my brand right now on Times Square because yes, does it have value? It does, but does it have the value that I want it to have? No, because I think sometimes we forget that everything we do, it does have value. You're putting your thought into it, you're putting your energy, you're putting your print into it. It's valuable because, but then to what extent? So I know what Talk Shit with P is valued right now. Do I think it's at the value that I want to spend money, even if I had it to put a billboard in Times Square? Not yet. And sometimes I think we need to be honest with ourselves because otherwise that's why we end up failing and wasting money. And I rather do the little things I need to do to fix it and get it to where that once I spend that money, whether it's my own money or somebody is spending it, I can say it's supposed to be there. It's meant to be there. It has the value of being there at that moment that it's there, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. So yeah, well, you are you you are elongating your success. You are pushing it down the line because you have other things that are. If we were to use a billboard affair, you are using you're focusing on something right now. Like you want value on your podcast, you want the brand to increase, you want all these other things before you get to that level where you can say, okay, my podcast is successful. And see, that's the whole point. You all have different ways of expressing what success means. Like mine and yours, we all have a different way of putting it as successful.
Yeah, because let me tell you this, right? Imagine if literally somebody gives me the money right now, go put your fucking billboard on Times Square, right? I will put it. But okay, so it will be in Times Square where there are already other billboards, but why would somebody stop and look at a talk show with P billboard? Like whatever.
You'll have that thing of yours, because you'll have that thing of yours. So I'm like,
yeah.
So they wait for the next go around.
I need to build something that way. Once it literally is, everybody is stopping like. That's what I want. I don't just want it on Times Square where it's there and people are just passing by it like the fuck. No, I need once it's there and it has that wow factor where everybody's like, yo, talk shit with me. People tagging me and shit like. So I need to create that by the time it gets there, it has that effect. You know, the wow factor. I'm a person who needs the wow factor. Because without a wow factor, I'm not gonna be like,
okay,
like, I don't care.
Yeah, I get you.
What about you? What's success for Sambaza podcast? The podcast in itself, for you.
The podcast in itself is, I want it to have enough episodes over there, right? To whereby
how many episodes do you have now?
Can. Oh, I have over 160, and I still have, and I'm still cutting some more.
And what is enough episodes for you?
And that's what I'm trying to say. If I have enough to whereby somebody can come in and say, I am looking for a quote out of Sambaza podcast to use on my paper, like an encyclopedia, I can be quoted there. Like, so you they can
think you need. So you think you need to have a lot of episodes to have a quote? Okay. So
remember what I say. My success is when I have enough of it, right? And I can look back and say, okay, I have, like right now, still you can quote my podcast, and that's what I do. Like when I go to say something, or I'm having a conversation with somebody, I will tell them, hey, you know, if you are talking about, say, COVID, I have my opinions about COVID, and I don't have to go ahead and tell you, hey, you know, so and so wrote a book about COVID, blah 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 blah. No, I won't tell you that. What I'll tell you is, I went in and did a book or did a video.
Okay. You know, that's what I do on dating apps. Well, I got off dating apps, but when people would ask about me, I would tell them, go listen to this episode, because I got tired of being asked, can you tell me about yourself on dating apps? So because I have an episode where a friend interviewed me on my own show, so I literally send that episode, go listen to this and then come and ask me questions.
So right there, you have a reference. You have a reference of a topic that you can tell people, hey, you know what? Go ahead and listen to this. Go ahead and do this. Or somebody's talking about something and you want to chime in, right? Now you can give like an educated response by saying, hey, you know what? If you're talking about this, I did my research and this is what I got. And for proof, there's my podcast. There you go. You see? So if I'm giving references, I would like other people to give reference to that particular podcast.
Gotcha.
Yep. Now,
and then people are noting you down on their research papers. I got this from Sambaza podcast episode number. This. Gotcha.
Yep.
You know the reason why I want a billboard in Times Square.
No.
Why I'm focusing on my brand compared to my podcast.
Okay.
Like, I've had people who sell their podcast, right?
Right.
And I knew my podcast nobody will ever want to buy my podcast because of how it is. And that has nothing to do about my worth or anything. Sometimes you just know your podcast will never be bought because of the conversations you have or how it is, right? But I do know that, not that I'll ever sell talk show whippy, but then again, who knows? But the billboard in Times Square is to up my brand, but my actual dream, like it's not really a success story, but kind of like a dream where somebody wants to buy the Talk Shit Whippy brand, and then I get to say no. Because I've done such amazing stuff with the brand that they're like, yo, we want to buy your brand. And I'm like, no, thanks. So that is kind of one of my, I feel like that would be an amazing success story for me, from where Talk Show Whippy started and how I'm working on it and what I'm planning with it. And then to come to that.
So to understand you better, your success will be the Times Square, being up on Times Square. That's when you'll say like, hey, you know what? I am good. My brand is up there. People are able to notice and know who I am at that point, right? It won't be like you're a stranger.
I mean, no offense, people already know me at this point. Like, come on, but
yeah, they know you. I'm not gonna say they don't know you. Your community knows you, but you know,
trying to be, over the top. But
by the way, there is no supporter as best as yourself. If you cannot support yourself, right? Don't be cocky.
Be your biggest fan.
Right. You gotta be your biggest fan. So hey, be your biggest fan, and you are always going to get somebody to like your product. Because if you're never gonna be your own fan, why would somebody else? If you don't like your stuff, why would somebody want to like your stuff? Right?
And it's okay to be cocky, just don't overdo it. Like if you're cocky 24/7, that's bad. But a little cockiness never hides anybody. Like you gotta be humble and cocky. You gotta know when to be humble and when to be cocky. So
what I say, time and a place.
Yes.
Time and a place. You gotta find your time and a place where you can do what you're supposed to do. Time and a place.
Amen, hallelujah.
Yeah.
Amen, hallelujah. So wait, before we get back to success, I'm very curious about this background of yours, because I know you guys had some weather issues and you were hiding in the bathroom and shit. So are you recording from the bathroom? That's why we have this different background today. Oh.
No, actually, so we're gonna be podcasting pretty soon, and I don't have a background, so there's a green screen behind here. So I decided, I was actually going through my stuff. You told me my mic was not good the last time I did a podcast, so I changed my mic, and I'm reading everything.
Did you listen to it? Did you get what I was saying?
No, not yet. And I noticed that in some of the podcasts, when it goes towards the end, it does do that. So I decided to use this background, which I was like, hey, why not? It's yellow, and you match the colors and go ahead with it. Yeah.
And it's the drums. Ini kanga, right. Shuka kanga.
It's a kanga. I think so.
Bring it to Afros. If we're gonna do our pen, I need to bring that to Afros. You remember what we talked about?
Oh yeah. Man, these people don't know these people do not know what they asked for.
That's what I'm saying. Because if we do exactly how we were talking about them, we're about to give them a whole experience.
Look, they do not know what they asked for. If they say yes, whoo, there's going to be one Afros and Audio festival.
I was talking to, oh my God, S Squared, because you guys on Wednesday, everybody left him on the stage alone, and I was hanging out with him, and then he was talking, and I was typing. I was like, this is stupid. So I got on the stage, and we started talking. So we're talking. I was telling him I'm gonna be on a if we get picked, I'm gonna be on a panel with Sambaza and Raphael. Wish me luck. It was like, oh my God, because we'll have to have a timer for Raphael because our panel is only like 30 minutes.
Right.
Raphael
Trials. We should have.
talk, I can talk, you can talk, I can talk.
And I'm thinking it's also one thing we have to learn. It's being on a timer. So when we do those things, you have to get a timer for yourself. Like you get your body timer and get your own time. So you
I'll just be,
when a
I'll
minute.
ring a bell. I'll just be ringing a bell. Your time is up next. No,
That seems
next.
right. Or you can use some type of use some type of signal and tell somebody, hey, you know what, it's about to be up, and then you wrap up.
We'll
It's not
figure
like
it out.
PT. Pardon the interruption. The sports thingy where the bell goes and then you have to move to the next question. Not that. But I think we do have. It'll be good. It'll be great. So
All right, back to our topic.
Right.
So it's funny because when I was talking about having this conversation, right, and then was it Tuesday or Wednesday? Because I came into Empowered Podcasting Room today, but I slept towards the end, so I don't remember how it ended. But I was listening to either yesterday's or the days before's replay, and Mark was venting about losing clients, and because of the success of a podcast, right? And
yeah, what was about that? I caught on. Normally, by the way, which is funny because on Thursday I'm usually at the gym at that time. So this past Thursday there were no lights. Remember, Wednesday there was no, Tuesday there was
today's Thursday.
This Thursday. So Tuesday there was that storm. So Wednesday morning there was no light. There were no lights at the gym, so that afforded me time to come. So when I came, I was like, "Hey, we're here," and I started listening. So I'm listening. I ain't gonna pay no mind to that. I'm listening to the show, and that's when I was like, okay, there's something on the background, and especially that success. Actually, you can still pivot back to that what he was saying on success over podcast. And I was like, wait a minute, we're about to talk about this on Thursday.
Yeah, I invited him here, but he's moving his daughter to his first apartment after whatever. So he said he wasn't sure he would make it because he rented a little, and probably this is why I would never want to be a podcast
Producer?
manager. No, podcast manager, like handling people's podcast and finding sponsors and all that, because there is nothing in podcasting, right? Nothing is for sure. So you can bet on yourself. The best you can do is bet on yourself, but it's not a sure game. So he was talking about where he has lost a lot of clients this year compared to any other year because of this conception of, oh, I'm not growing so fast, I'm not moving so fast, I'm not getting money, sponsorships. And I think it goes back to success, right? A lot of people start a podcast with that mindset, right? I'm going to do a few episodes, I'm going to get done, and then I'm going to make money. So that's why when people come to me and they're like, the first thing when they, and this is for real, which is getting tiring, when they ask me if I'm a podcast, they're like, how much are you making? Are you making money? Oh, and they also come to me and tell me, oh, tell me how you started your podcast. I want to have a successful podcast. I have to ask them, like, what is a successful podcast to you? Because and not to say, I know people who have started their podcast in 1 month and have got to 1,000 downloads or whatever. It all depends about also who you were before. If you already had some online visibility, if you're starting from scratch, if you have marketing budget, if it all depends on that. When I started podcasting,
that begs the question. I'm gonna stop right there just for a second. That begs the question: do you know podcasting at that point? Remember, you can get into podcasting just because you have a mic and you have all that budgeting, blah blah blah. 1 month you're all famous. Question is, do you know podcasting?
You say, do you know podcasting? What do you mean?
You could have a whole team of people doing everything for you, right? You could hit the down, you could hit the download, but there's no exactly. So
everybody wants to know podcasting. Some people, yes, and some people, trust me, I didn't want to know podcasting. I had to know because I didn't have the money to afford to buy people, so I taught myself. But if I had the money, fuck yeah, I would have hired everybody to do the damn shit. Like, it is all good. It's not about knowing, and sometimes you can pay all the people because some people are good in research. I hate doing research. That's why I attend empowered podcasting room or other rooms. That way I can hear from people because I know I'm not the person to go sit and start researching. Or even that's why I used to like attending Wednesdays at empowered podcasting room because I would hear the news because I don't go searching the news. But there are people who they might not do it, but they're good at researching. They like researching, they like reading, so they might know podcasting in that way. Like, even though I do shit by myself, I literally can't say I know podcasting. That's why I don't, even when I talk about, when I go to speaking gigs, I don't opt to speak about monetizing or downloads or that because I don't know shit about that. I know what I know about sharing my stories and my journey. So I stick to my lane, even though I've been doing podcasting for 4 years and I've been editing, but you never hear me speak on a stage about how to edit your podcast or how to use this to get a hell fuck no. So it really isn't about that. It's just a mentality that people assume that even if they have that, they can start making money they expect that in 1 year or less than a year to already be making money because they have certain number of downloads or certain visibility or all that, when that really isn't it. So what are your thoughts about that when people assume that, oh, because I have 10,000 downloads, my podcast should be successful, I should be making money? Because there are people with less and they are making money, right? It's all about also how niche that are you and who's your clientele, who is looking for what. Because I know people who have the smallest amount of downloads and Instagram followers, and they have bigger sponsors and do coaching, and their podcasting are amazing, and there are people with crazy numbers and they really haven't monetized in the way people assume.
So the thing is, I'll tell you something that I heard about on NPR. They were talking about what makes a star, right? Like there's so many singers who are there that can sing and do all this stuff, but why is it that some of them are more famous than the other? Two things: time and place, luck, right? It's not about the talent. They may have the best talent, but just the way it's your path, how you take your path. I'll mention you to a guy I'm researching right now. We're supposed to be doing something together. Rodney. He does The Young God. I went to his emotional intelligence conference a couple of weeks ago. But I did research more and more on him after I learned about him. And he doesn't have a lot of downloads, right? But for sponsorships, talking gigs, dude, he's up there, right? So now you question yourself. There are other people who will be, having, like you said, over 10,000 downloads and don't have even a single podcast, right? What is your why? Because when you figure out what your why is, that's when you're going to be comfortable with yourself and say, when I get to this point, I'm okay. I've done well. If I haven't made this much downloads, I've not been successful. But you also have to give yourself steps, give yourself grace as you go along, and you make this beautiful journey as you're going to podcast. Now, I'll tell you my personal experience. I've been editing my own podcast ever since I started, for the last 3 or 4 years. How you wanted to start and end formats and all that. That's not easy. It's not like the first day when you started editing on Anchor. I think you're editing on your phone, right? The first day, it was a daunting task. But right now, if you were to get the same amount of work, you could still do it. But you understand that even editing can change the way a podcast sounds, can change the way a podcast will relate to somebody. You can play around with the words, cut here, bring there, move this, move that. That is what I say. That's what I was saying. Do you know podcasting? So somebody will come in, give them a mic, sit there, talk, finish, right? That's what they're good at. And they leave. And somebody else takes it, fixes it, makes it look nice. Somebody else does the marketing. Then they just go and disappear. Next time they call, they come back. Is it good? Yes. Can you afford it? Fine, go ahead. But then what's your why, right? But if I come and I have my podcast in the next 10 years, and I look back, 10 years from now, I would probably look back and say, wow, there has been a growth in me in learning how to podcast, in learning how to interview. I don't just ask a question just because I asked a question. I have had difficult interviews. I have had easy interviews. I have weird interviews. But how would I have learned? By doing it, right? So that's the whole. It's like a whole embodiment of podcasting, which I would call my success. I have done these little things, and I'm busy doing other projects here and there. At the end of it all, I think I'll say, yeah, I'm successful in what I've done. Besides, hey, you know what? This guy has truly put some work in what he has done, and we can, give him some change here and there. That'll be fine. But that's not my wife. My wife from the get-go has always been that encyclopedia. Like the Q podcast. Is it the Q? They call themselves the Q. They always say that their podcast is an encyclopedia. Q point,
Isn't
yes.
it Q points?
Yes. Remember they said their podcast.
I'm a boy.
Yep. They said theirs is an encyclopedia. So same way. That's what they want. That's their why. So my why, my successes, they're good.
And that's also true. I like when you reference like musicians, because we know there's so many talented musicians.
It is. Whoa.
Podcasting. It also sometimes is really about luck, right? And that's why it's important, because
Paula, what's wrong with the internet?
To be in rooms with different people and never know where that one person can bring. And that's why I say when it comes to success, everybody has, as long as you know your why are you starting your podcast, right? Anyway, we're about to wrap this up. I don't know. But as I was saying, it all comes down to, as you say, your why, because there are different ways of being successful with your podcast without sponsorship or monetizing. It could be, hey, you want more stage appearances, because that's easy to get invited on different stages and speaking. Or it could be, you're using your podcast for call to actions to your business. You're getting more clients because you're talking about your business. Or it could be you're using your podcast just to, like Paula, to just have deep conversations and bring awareness, because I am selfish like that. So different opportunities are what makes your podcast successful. The opportunity it gives you, whether it's connecting with like-minded people, whether it's speaking on different stages, whether it's finding new opportunities, because a lot of people have started podcasting and ended up changing their jobs because new opportunities came from having conversation and then realizing, oh shit, I can actually do this. So there's more to monetizing or sponsorships, and I wish people really knew that instead of sticking to that, because even if you monetize or get sponsorship, it's not like you're really gonna make that much of money unless you're really that big or that important. Like, it's gonna take a while until you get to a point. And most people who actually make money with their podcast is because they either have causes or all this extra stuff that they're doing. It's really not just from their podcast. So we need to get in terms of that, and we need to, just like growing up, right? To be successful means you have a white collar job, right? You are being you got that promotion. You have a name on the law firm you work. You are a big doctor. You are winning awards in whatever field you are. You are married and have the perfect family, right? Those are what people used to see as, oh my God, you have a successful life because you have a wife at home and kids, and you drive a BMW, and you live in a big house, and But in reality, you're not really happy. Does that success even matter? Because you might have all that because that's the mindset we were taught. That's what success is, right? We grew up thinking like, oh, that's what success means. So we have that, and we are trapped in these lives that we are not happy. But as long as people outside see that we are successful.
Yeah, it's true. Really true.
I got tired of that, especially me and my dad were recording, and shout out to actually Mosibo. We are in the same, because of Sambaza, I got to know her. She invited me and my dad to record a Father's Day episode, and
Oh,
and
I said I can't wait to hear it.
a lot of people are looking forward to that episode. Even Matthew doesn't listen to my podcast. He's like, that one I will definitely tune in. Me and my dad have never been a guest together. He has been on my podcast, but it was me asking him questions. So this is different because we are both guests, and she literally asks questions and then my dad answers, I answer, and then we all give our perspective and we all ask different questions. So I got to learn a little bit more, and I like that she listened to the old episode and didn't ask the same questions, but dug deeper from that. So it's kind of like a continuation of that Father's Day. But when my dad was told about, if you thought about your kids' success, like, how did you think and whatever, and my dad say, and that's when I realized that I am so grateful I have the father who I have, because as an African child, the way my life is right now, to them, if I was born in a proper African family, I am far off from successful. Because first, I'm 35, no kid and no husband. This all it is in an African family, And then you are chasing a dream of building a brand and podcasting. You do not have an actual job. You do not have no saving, no money. Like I am literally the opposite of what a successful African daughter is. But hearing my dad say what successful children for him is the key to make sure and doing what they love doing, and that made me happy because, again, as I said, and that's why it kept on daunting to me, like, you don't have to have a normal life, you don't have to feel successful because you have a family or whatever. And like in Africa, right, the way they would ask you, they wouldn't ask you, are you happy, right? You might have your own business you have built from sweat and that, but if you're not married, they'll be like, are you married? Where's your husband? Oh, where's your wife? If you don't have that, nothing else matters. It doesn't matter if you're a big-time doctor. It doesn't matter if you live in a mansion. So there's certain things, but to be able to know that I don't have to have that to feel successful, want the life that I want, to fight the life that I want, that is what successful is for me in my life, right? To be able to live in a peaceful life and follow my dream. Whether I fail or not, I feel like it's already successful because I'm living towards my dream. So I want people, the reason I wanted to have this conversation is I got tired of being asked this question of successful podcasts and hearing people's ideas of what success is. It was just, can we change this mindset? Success can be whatever the fuck you want it to be. Whatever is for you, that's just success.
So, Paula, let me let you in on a secret. See that question about success? that was my question that I had. So actually, I was the one who gave the question to her to ask you or ask your dad.
Wait, so so wait, you are working behind the scenes on this shit?
Hey, hey, that's why we are friends, and that's why we work together. I was asked for a couple of questions that I could ask, and that was one of the questions. And shout outs to your dad if he answered that question, and shout out to Mo if she asked that question and it's coming up. I'm
He
very
was
honored.
asked. He was asked. It was asked. This episode will be out in 2 weeks because I believe June is going to be on Saturday, so Father's Day is literally 2 weeks away. So the episode will be coming. I'm very excited to hear that episode because
When you hear that
she did.
question, just know.
It's like my dating life, and it's funny because Jimmy is here. I just saw Jimmy here. Is Jimmy still here? He left away, but he was here. He was. We literally talked about him, but he asked about dating and how my dad felt about me dating, how I felt about my dad dating, how my dad felt about dating with me, how if I pick my boyfriends with my, how they say daughters fall in love with their fathers, they look for their fathers in men. We talked about that. So it was a very interesting.
They do that.
And now my
You know,
dad,
like,
and now my,
like,
and now my dad keeps bugging me on Twitter about getting married. So I don't know. I don't know if that episode
somebody said behind every successful daughter is a bold man or a bold dad, a bold-headed dad. So hey,
and he's bold as well. So
Nice. What's up, group? So Paula,
yes.
we have defined success today, and I think we have agreed that it's going to be on our own terms. Everybody has their own version of success on their podcast and in life as well. To me, I say, you when we say in Kenya, you unajita mkutano, you call yourself a meeting to yourself, right? So you call a meeting of yourself, you and your other person, and discuss what you have planned and where you are in your journey. If you haven't met these successes, look, you did start from somewhere. This is my version. You did start from somewhere, and you are at some point in your life. We've attributed yours 2023 to 2024. We took snippets of over 6 months of each year, 2023 and 2024. And Paula, we've been together, and I've seen the journey that you've made. You've moved mountains, and to me, that defines a success, right? You want to be on the billboard. You're not used there's this saying: a man and his dog walk through a forest. The forest is a straight line, right? But this man is walking straight. He walks 1 mile, but his dog walks 3 miles. They all end up at the same place outside. Why? Because as he walks, his dog goes into the bush, comes back, sees a rabbit, chases it, comes back. The man just keeps walking. So he walks 1 mile, but the dog has walked 3 miles. In the end, you still make it, right? So I think that's what we're doing.
And I think I'm gonna just start a GoFundMe account for let's have for a billboard on Times Square. By the time it gets filled up with the money I need, I will be where I need to be. But thank you for saying that. And I think, and this is not because I had when I went on Chris's show, he really made me take a journey from 2020 when I started podcasting, and we talked through now, and to really talk that, and that was the being a guest on his show made me do the year reflection episode, because I wasn't gonna drop anything for my 4th year anniversary. But I think and to look at that, I really, despite all the struggles and the difficulties, to know that I have somehow been building. Sometimes you don't know what you have built because you're constantly on the go until you actually stop and reflect, like really take the moment to really look and see.
But I just said.
I know. And that's why they say that saying stop and smell the flowers, because sometimes you might be walking in that garden, you're just walking and you never smell it. So every now and then remember to stop and smell the flowers. So, and that's why when my dad responded the way he responded to that question, it made me even more proud, because it made me realize that, because my dad is one of my biggest supporter. He supports me and claps for me, and sometimes he doesn't understand, sometimes he doesn't get it, but he just believes in me, and he feels like, what, Paul has a vision, I'm gonna let her do that vision. And but to be able to hear him say that, it made me realize that because he has been a backseater of my journey from when it started. So he sees and he knows, compared to anybody else, he knows all my struggles, right? Because online people, the people around me, you only know what I say. You really don't know everything, right? Or what you only know whatever I post, whatever I share. But my dad knows every roadblock, everything, and to still keep pushing and to still like, do I get tired? Yes, but I don't give up. But I do take a rest, right? Because we should take rest. So that, to me, as you say, it is what success is, like knowing that you're not where you are. So I do agree with you, but I just wanted to push deeper, because of course I'm going to push deeper, right? I needed to get more insight for those people, because I was asking it as one of those people who is stuck in what success is, not one of the people who understands. No, a good interviewer is gonna dig deeper for both sides. Because if I would have just said, yeah, I get it, because I do get it, what about those people who don't get it, right? Because we are trying to have this conversation to help those people who are stuck in that mindset of what success is.
True.
So, as we come to an end with this, what advice would you like to give to those people who are uneasy about their success? Especially, I'm not going to go on live right now. I'm going to go on the podcasting world, because as we are all podcasters, I'm pretty sure every one of us have had that moment where we have wanted to quit on this podcasting game, because it gets draining, right? Especially when you're doing everything yourself and you're financing everything, and there's a lot that comes with it. People will say, hi Alex, I see Alex is in the house.
Hey,
and then
Alex.
People will say, oh, but use ChatGPT, it's only $9 a month, but then also Buzzsprout is only $20 a month, but then also this is only $15 a month. Then there's also StreamYard, which is only $30 a month to stream. So all those, they do add up, right? They do add up, and not everybody has a cushion. Not everybody has a safety net. Some people like me was still paycheck to paycheck. Some people like me didn't have a job for a long time. Like, all that obstacles that come, that end up making your passion even harder. Yes, it's fun. We love podcasting, but it also, you need to spend some money on it, right? It's not just a free, not everything is free. So that can make it tough for people to want to keep going when they're not seeing the results they actually want, or where they feel defeated. So give a word to them to encourage them on their success journey. And
I'll go by myself.
It all adds up. It does.
And it's true. That's actually the best comment there. It all adds up when you start jumping into paying stuff. First of all, don't follow the trends. That's one thing. Remember what your why is. Then look at yourself and see where you fit in. right? Don't try to be, and this is where we get caught up. You want to be like somebody who's out there. I know it's nice, you know, when you see somebody who's making all this money and say how is he making the money. Take your time. Take your time. It will work out, because as you put more effort from time to time, you will gain experience, you'll gain exposure, and then people will recognize how much work you put into whatever you're doing. I'll give you an example. There's a lady I've introduced, I've known all my life. She's called Anna Molago. She was on my podcast, the 2-part episode. And this is the person who said she wanted to do acting. And I was like, if it's not paying you at that time, why are you acting? Just stop. Just do something else. We're in America. Let's hustle. Let's do this stuff. And she stuck to her guns. 20 years later, right now, as we speak, she is an accomplished poet, accomplished singer, accomplished, she has her own band. She's about to start her own podcast show live this week on Fridays, where she's talking to other people who are immigrants. But this is a journey that has taken 20 years. Yes, someone might take 1 month, 1 week. You know, what is time to you? But if you work on your craft, and that's what I say, podcasting is your craft, work on it, it will always pay in the end. One thing is, like they say, garbage in, garbage out. Hey, you put great input in, you're going to get great input out. That's my 2 cents.
She didn't give, and I like that. And I like that she didn't give up, because if it really is your passion, like look at even the musicians. When we talk about Jay-Z's story or Oprah or all of them, they didn't just wake up and become famous and rich. In everything, you need to pay your dues. Even if you are a lawyer or you're in white collar, there's stages. Sometimes somebody gets promoted before you. Somebody, even though you do everything right, you gotta pay your dues, and it's okay. And that's why I literally emphasize on networking and being a part of different communities, because you never know where your next success is coming from or who it's coming from. And sometimes it is luck, but in order to get luck, exactly, you gotta be at the place. So if you're not showing up in those places, how is your luck gonna find you? So sometimes even when I don't have money, there's certain events I'm like, I am gonna figure it out and make sure I make it there despite whatever, because you never know what's gonna come from it. Like Podfest, I literally did this year. I did not know I was gonna be able to attend until the 2nd week of January, where I booked my ticket. Because half of me, but I knew I had to be there, and everything ended up last minute. And even Afros and Audios, I knew I wanted to be there. And amazing things I've gotten from Afros and Audios, because I'd already known you, Sambaza, but I got to know you in a different level, and our friendship is straightened, and I got to know other people like Crate and Dripping Black, which I could have known them online, but it was different actually being around them there and now growing this relationship and all these amazing things coming out from them. So I would also want to, one thing as well, like, don't put your success in monetizing or sponsorship. There are different ways to be successful. To me, when it comes to podcasting, I think the best way I can say success is in podcasting is the opportunities that your podcast will bring for you. And there'll be opportunities that you will never even fucking believe or what, because it might not be the money you were hoping or the sponsorship, but it might be a life-changing opportunity. And I might have not gotten money from my podcast yet or made money, but the incredible different opportunities that have made me the person who I am and the person who I keep growing and knowing what more I want to do with my podcast, with my brand, with the journey have been worthwhile. So redefine success for yourself with your why. Why the fuck are you? Mic drop.
Right there. All right, Paula. It was nice hanging out with you
You
today.
there, Sambaza?
Yeah, we'll see you.
Sambaza.
Yeah.
Hi. Until next time. Thank you all for joining us at Pod Chat Live, which happens every last Saturday of the month.
This October 18th to the 20th, don't miss the go-to event experience for aspiring, new, and seasoned Black indie podcast creators and audio professionals. Now spanning 3 action-packed days. The 6th Annual Afros and Audio Podcast Festival in Baltimore, Maryland will be a weekend of panels, workshops, and networking designed to elevate your podcasting game. Join us at the Reginald F. Lewis Museum and book your discounted room at True by Hilton Baltimore Harbor East. The festival jumps off with a live show and kickoff party on Friday, followed by a weekend of networking, learning, and celebration. You'll get to engage with industry leaders through educational tracks, an awards evening, and close out with pivotal discussions on Sunday. Afros and Audio is where the Black podcast community unites to forge stronger connections and gain valuable insights. We'll see you in October. Secure your spot for an unforgettable experience. Visit afrosandaudio.com to secure your ticket today.